Been Dead. I wrote this song melody, it's really, really good. I'm proud of it. One thing that's cool about it is I've always sort of had this idea for a song to write a song about. The chorus is melody, where'd you go, which I sort of had that line as an idea to write a song around for years, but I never really found a place to put it until now. So the song is about a girl named Melody who is essentially your muse, and when she leaves, when she's gone, you lose your creative inspiration for songwriting. So it's like Melody, where'd you go, as the girl, as well as Melody, where'd you go, in terms of songwriting. Melody, Melody, where'd you go. So it's a cool song. It's a cool concept for a song, and I'm glad I finally brought it into I'm glad it's finally come to fruition.
I tend to document everything I do when I'm writing a song down in a little handheld recorder device. I like something tangible to use when I'm recording ideas. I find that I also need to do that. A lot of times I'll come up with an idea that'll go if I don't have it recorded, something to refer back to. So I have that little handheld recorder that I just use to document the creation of a song. And I'll listen back to the ideas. I'll play them on loop, and hope through listening to it I'll spark some sort of other inspiration for another idea. And I also do it just for legal reasons as well. If someone ever needed to know when the song was created, when the idea came into being, I just document the date. I say it at the beginning of every recording. I suppose that people might assume when they hear this track that I wrote it about a girl I knew named Melody, which is unfortunately not the case. Well, I don't know if it's unfortunately. It's just simply not the case. I've never actually known someone named Melody. I'm sure they're out there, but I have yet to meet one. So the song's not actually about necessarily someone I've known as much as it is about a story I sort of created from the ground up that I just found interesting. And I think that always makes for a cool song, is when you build a story from the ground up. It's a different kind of songwriting, I'd say, different kind of lyric writing, crafting a story as opposed to narrating a portion of your own life. I built the song from the ground up. I think I just started with a drum loop. Had a tom on the downbeats, and a snare on 2 and 4, and a little kick pattern to accompany it, and a hi-hat on the offbeats. But anyway, so I started with just a drum loop, and on top of that I threw the bass line, boom, boom, ba-dum, boom, boom, and then I wanted something to fill out the track, so I inserted the pad at the beginning, which really gives it sort of this airy, floaty feeling. And then the synth lead, that was just something that spontaneously popped into my head. I heard that synth lead, that's always so much. It's so cool and so inspiring whenever that happens in songwriting, where you just have an idea that just comes. And I knew the melody I wanted. I was looking for the sound to match the melody, because of course you can have a melody, but you need the timbre, the instrument to play it. So I just, at that point, when I had the melody, I just began looking through different synth lead sounds and tweaking them and adjusting them till I found what I wanted, which was sort of this hybrid of a string lead with an analog synth lead. And I love that synth lead. When we began the formal recording process, I started actually with the vocal, which is not really what you're supposed to do, but I started with it because there were a lot of MIDI tracks that I had laid out and just basic drum loops and bass lines that I was mostly using MIDI programs to play. So I actually started with the vocals because I wanted to lay it out, and that that was actually a pretty quick process, laying the vocal out. From there, I brought in David and Tyler to record the bass and the drums, which they tweaked themselves. One thing that's so interesting about Melody is how fast the whole thing seemed to come together. It took a few days, whereas other songs, occasionally songs happen like that, which take hours or a few days. Mostly with Melody, it was like I worked on it for like 2-3 hours each day for a few consecutive days, and by the end of that I was done. So in terms of the lyrics, I started with the chorus, "Melody, where'd you go?" And from there I moved out to verses, and I wanted to, I knew the basic premise of the song, but going into the verses it's always sort of a journey, seeing maybe how the tale will come out a little differently than or how it'll change. So, just reading the first verse, "Can't find another word or write a song to make it feel I'm heard." Not being able to find anything to say or write a song to make it feel I'm heard. You've lost your inspiration. You simply can't find a melody. I think the second verse is my favorite in this song. I think it really captures the heart of the theme of the track, which is a refuge, a reservoir, a refrain that echoes in every bar. A refrain that echoes in every bar, and with reference to that line, she is the refrain, the repeated little pattern, the repeated message that echoes in every bar of your music. A muse in every heart. She's come and gone. So that line, "a muse in every heart," I was sort of playing on the word amusing, and also obviously amuse, the creative inspiration, but amusing every heart as well. She's come and gone, and then straight into the chorus, "Melody, where'd you go?" So, as I mentioned, I think the second verse is the most poetic, one of the most poetic verses I've written, I think. A refrain that echoes in every bar, a muse in every heart. It's, very, it's very poetic. So, in short, Melody is a track we're very proud of. It's a track we love playing live. We love rehearsing. We rehearse it too much, probably. So, we could be rehearsing other things when we rehearse Melody, but it's a track we love, and we want to make sure it always stays tight and gets even tighter. But in terms of just the recording of it, we all really love it.
That's it. So now I have that song down in here. I don't know how much of it will change, but I'm really happy with how it's sounding now. So, today is, once again, August 29th, 2017, and I began writing the song on August 19th, 2017. So, cool.